Good morning, students. I am now going to check and edit this essay. You can see the question and answer printed below. This is a very good essay which could possibly get a grade 8 in IELTS, but I am going to improve it to make it a 9. That's 120 in TOEFL. The main way I am going to improve it is by firstly correcting the few mistakes, and secondly adding more examples, detail, vocabulary and grammar. So let's look at paragraph 1. Let me just tell you the question first of all. Some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. For example, working for a charity, improving the neighbourhood, or teaching sports to younger children. Do you agree or disagree? So paragraph 1, there are many volunteer jobs. No ing here. Second sentence, some people think that high school students should do these kind of jobs. Paragraph 2, sentence 2, where I live, bush fires, plural, in summer, singular, are a serious threat for both the environment. Next sentence, human resources are an important factor in dealing with this problem. And last sentence in paragraph 2, whether high school students are enthusiastic about doing these types of jobs. Paragraph 3, the last sentence here is not very clear, and it is probably repetition because the first two sentences make the point that many people will not be motivated to do a good job if they get no salary. The last sentence is seeming to say that people do not want to do work which they do not like, but that seems a little confusing because it's not on the same subject of working for no pay. I think instead here we should give more detail to illustrate the point that people work better when they are receiving a salary. So here I am going to give an example, and you should insert this where I have put a number of 2's. When I was at high school, my teachers organized a volunteer program tidying up the local neighbourhood. Each day we would go out in groups and pick up rubbish, offer to cut people's lawns for free, and even do some housework for old people. We received no pay, and even though the work was not unenjoyable, I felt a certain lack of motivation. If I had received a salary, even if it was very small, I am sure this would have improved my enthusiasm enormously. So insert that short story where I have put the number 2's. We have added some vocabulary and also the past perfect tense, which is going to raise your grades. Last paragraph 4. The last phrase is unclear here. It's recommended to encourage them to participate in volunteer programs, but the writer hasn't said why. So I think we need some other detail here to show why volunteer programs are good for students. So let's change this. So it is recommended to encourage them to work in teams and learn about social responsibility. I think this is more clearly stating what the writer intends. So insert that and get rid of participate in volunteer programs. Now let's go back to paragraph 2, and I'm going to add a story at the end of the paragraph. I think we should use a story about firefighting, as the writer has already mentioned this earlier in paragraph 2. Every year in my neighbourhood, actually let's use locality, I think we've used neighbourhood once or twice already. Every year in my locality there are extremely dangerous and damaging wildfires. No one seems to know how these start, but they always destroy vast areas of forest and property. Last year I was involved in helping with one of these fires. Early one morning I woke up to a news flash asking for volunteers to help contain the fires. I immediately got dressed and raced out to the gathering point where organizers were grouping people for different tasks. My job was to help to dig trenches, trenches, to prevent the fires from spreading. This job does not require much skill, but it is hot and sweaty, and by the end of the day I was totally exhausted. This was the first time I had been involved in this kind of activity, and it really made me understand why volunteers were so important for our community. It would have been nice, of course, to have received some remuneration as well, but at that time I was happy to give my services free. So that story you should insert where I have put the number of ones. I have included the past perfect tense in that short story and a lot of new vocabulary, so this should guarantee this essay getting the highest scores, 9 and 120 respectively. Another thought, probably that story can be a separate paragraph, so you can have 5 paragraphs here, and that would be paragraph 3. Okay students, thank you for listening and good luck with your next assignment.